Hey everyone, Melanie here. I'm back with a traditional 12 by 12 scrapbook layout, and here I'm showing you the pictures. The picture I'm going to use, it's a picture of my son Lucas at school, and it was actually taken by one of the teachers and printed at school and mounted on a piece of cardstock, orange cardstock. So I'm gonna use that. It's printed on printer paper, but I quite like this picture, and it shows Lucas's love for bubbles, so I'm gonna use it anyway. Before I start, I'm showing you all the papers I think I'm gonna use. I might use all of them or might use some of them, I can't remember right now. And this one is definitely one of my favorite paper. It's by Fancy Paint and it's called Summer Fun, and it's a grey stripes on the B side and a whale on aqua background on the A side, and I really love it. Anyway, first of all, I wanted to say I apologize for being a bit late this week. I tried to upload my scrapbook layout on Monday, but it didn't happen this week because it was a bank holiday Monday, and everybody was home and it wasn't happening. And yesterday it wasn't happening either because too much stuff to do right now. Anyway, I've trimmed down my picture so that's just a little bit of orange showing around it, and I'm mounting it on a piece of dark blue cardstock which matches my son's uniform color. And this is, I don't know, it might have been pink paisley, I don't know, someone made this paper. It's a navy stripe on a white background, and the orange paper with lit stars is from Lone Phone, that I remember. I kind of know what I want to do for this one. I want to do a little bit of layering, not too much, but I want to bring some grey because the background on the picture is quite grey. The ground behind my son is grey, so I'm gonna bring this grey stripe. And it was really hard to decide to cut into this piece of paper, I tell you that. So I'm gonna cut the smallest stripe I can. And this piece of very colorful paper, it's from Grace Taylor. It's something you can find in big box stores here. So it's not very good paper, but I like the color, so I use that. I'm gonna remove the manufacturer strip, and I'm gonna cut like a 1-inch strip to do my layering, and it's really sad because I really like this paper. Anyway, I'm gonna do a little bit of layering. I'm gonna do vertical stripes kind of thing, and I'm playing around seeing the placement, and I'm gonna glue that down, trying to get things a bit even. I know some people like uneven things, and I can do it sometimes, but I really like when things are pretty even and balanced and all of that. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to have the same amount of paper showing on each side so that it's quite symmetrical. It's not absolutely perfect, that's okay, but yeah, I quite like that. And here I'm trying to decide how I'm gonna put my pictures on top of my picture. Well, I'm not quite sure what I'm saying it in plural. My picture on top of it. And I also know I want to bring more orange. So I'm gonna use this Lone Phone paper. I'm just gonna cut because I really like it, and orange is a color I use quite often because I find it works very well with blue, and blue is a color I've got to use quite often because it's often a picture of my boy at school and his uniform is dark blue, so that works perfectly. If you don't know, orange is a complementary color to blue, so that works. It makes it balanced in your eyes, I think. So here I'm just trimming the excess. I didn't do a very good job at trimming, but nobody will ever notice that it's not perfect. I'm checking, and I know I want to leave a little bit of the navy stripe on the side. I don't want my picture to cover it completely on the right side, so I'm going to put my picture not aligned perfectly on the vertical stripe, but just slightly to the side. And yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing there. Ah yeah, I'm looking for letters. So ideally I would have wanted to use navy blue letters, but I didn't have any. I thought about using white, but white on white wouldn't work for me. And so I'm going through my letter stickers, and I decided to go for the lime green. You see here, it's called they call daiquiri, the remarks daiquiri, I think they're called. And I'm going through my other letter stickers, trying to find things if I had a color that worked, and I didn't. So I should have cut that out, but yeah, I left that in. More looking at, and at the same time I'm pulling out some embellishments I might use. So in the end, I'm gonna go with this big Studio Calico chipboard letters that you can see that I've just pulled out. And I've decided to go with green because the colorful triangle behind the picture, the stripe, there's a little bit of lime green. So I thought I would bring more lime green and make it work like that. And I think it works. And I'm going, those letters are black. I could have, if I really wanted to be fancy, I could have just sewed those letters and paint them dark blue and all of that, but I really wanted this layout to be done. It's not such a precious picture. It's a, it had staples in the top corners and stuff like that, so I'm not precious about the picture, but I still want it in my album because I think it's quite cool to have a memory like that in your album. And to have a different picture in your album, not just something that you took, but someone that that is not familiar with your kid. It's taken this picture of Lucas, which is really cool. And I wanted to write Happy Bubbles Day, but I didn't have enough letters, so I'm going to write instead School Bubbles Day. It's not perfect title, but I couldn't think of anything else I wanted to use. So here I'm just trying out the placement. I was checking which orientation the H should be because it didn't feel right the way I put it down. And I'm just gonna put them down on the paper. And for the background I'm using American Craft cardstock. I'm not sure if it's got a special name, in white. I really like it. I only have like 4 pieces of it left, so I need to be a bit more careful with it because I'm in a nose pen year, really. I haven't spent anything since Christmas, so it's pretty good. I haven't bought anything craft-wise. I bought clothes, but that's fine. That also is gonna stop. So yeah, I'm just putting my letters down. I'm always struggling with foam letters. Those green letters are foam, so they're a bit wobbly. And because there's no green, not much green anywhere else, I felt like I needed the bubbles to be on the pictures to bring it all together, if that makes sense. So I went off camera, I went through my stash and pulled out more embellishments I thought I might use, like this grey thing, which is perfect to bring some more grey. And I also punched some circles in the leftover paper. And here I'm just going to write who took the picture, which I didn't know. My son had 4 teachers last year in his first year at school, so I couldn't remember which one took the picture, so I just wrote your teacher. And it's quite early on in the school year, but it's probably something like April or May because he's wearing a jersey. So it's not like February or March, it's probably like April or May, which is still very early on in the school year, especially when you're 5. And I'm just putting my circles down. I've decided to do 3 clusters of embellishment, one at the top because there was a dot of paint that was bothering me up there. One next to the title and one on the right side next to the picture, where I put the snapshot details tag, because then it works, it doesn't feel like it's floating too much. And I'm adding tiny with stickers. Those were by Amy Tangerines. I have a few left. I have mostly pink left, which I never use. I've got like 3 of the aqua left and a handful of the grey ones. And I'm adding some hearts. Those animal hearts are from ID Swap, my favorite Sing collection. So they're quite old, and I really like those. I've got 2 sets of them. And I think I'm pretty much done. I'm gonna add I thought about adding those pluses, but there are only 2 grey ones, and so it didn't feel like working. I could have used a green one on the last cluster of embellishments, but didn't work for me, I think, at the time. So I'm using those grey hearts, which were from Studio Calico, they're puffy stickers, and I've used those to death. I had 2 lots of them, and I really like them. And I'm trying to decide if I need any more embellishments, but I think I'm pretty much done here. I'd punched out a few orange stars, but I'm not going to use them in the end. I think at this point, oh yeah, I'm going to do some journaling. I don't always do journaling on my layout. It's maybe 1 in 3 layouts I'm going to do some journaling. So this one is one of those. I'm going to do a little bit of writing on it. I'm just using a ballpoint pen and, writing a couple of lines, making some lines and stuff. And I'm just writing about how Lucas has always loved bubbles since he was very little. So it was a real treat when they did play with bubbles at school. It was probably one of those developmental afternoon or something like that, where they'd get to play. Yeah, he really loved school last year, but he's been back at school for about a week now, and he's really not happy. He was crying this morning, which broke my heart. I'm not quite sure what's wrong, so we'll have to figure it out, because he really likes learning to read and write and stuff like that. So yeah, anyway, I'm moving on. I'm doing some splatters with my watercolors. Those are koi watercolors. I really like them. They're perfect for this kind of use because they're quite vibrant. They're a bit chalky, but that's fine for splatters. And I'm using my water brush to do my splatters, and that's pretty much it for this layout. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to show you a bit of a close-up right now so you can have a better look. It was a very quick layout, but I like how it looks, and the picture is in my album, so that's all I wanted. Anyway, I hope you guys have a nice week, and I'm trying to have a video for you up this weekend, but I'm not sure that's gonna work because hectic times are hectic. Anyway, see you soon guys. Bye bye.